Hello, good morning everybody. It's Sharon from Delight to Bite, but not at Delight to Bite today. I'm at home. Excuse the hair and the non-makeup. This is what we rock when we're all locked down, unfortunately. Right, so what I'm going to do today is something I hadn't done for quite a while until yesterday. I decided that I was going to make some of my own bread. To be able to do that, it's quite simple. You just need a few ingredients. So the first thing that you need is some strong bread flour. Now, I've got this brand, but there are other brands that you can use, and there are also some that have added bits for if you're going to do wholemeal or whole grain, something like that. The difference between this flour and the ordinary all-purpose flour is basically it has a higher protein content, and you need protein in the flour so that when you knead your bread it releases and makes more gluten, so bread works better when you have gluten in it. Okay, so to be able to do this recipe today, what you'll need is 500 grams of the strong bread flour, and then a packet of this. Now this is yeast. You can get the other variety, which is fresh yeast, and if you're going to do that, then you need to actually put it in a little bit of warm water with a bit of sugar. The sugar helps activate the yeast. You don't need any of that with this at all. Basically, all I'm going to do with the flour, which is now in this little pot here, is pour that into the flour that I've got there. Just going to get a spoon a second. Okay, so make a little well in the middle of your flour and your yeast. You need 3 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to give a little bit of a shake in there. And then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons full of oil. You can use any oil, doesn't matter really. Whatever preference you've got, olive oil is just as good. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of this. 2, 3. Okay, so that goes into the flour. You can do this all by hand, but I'm going to use my mixer. However, my mixer doesn't actually have a dough beater. My dough beaters are back at the shop. So I'm just going to use an ordinary K beater. I've got a Kenwood, an old Kenwood chef here. And I'm going to use that to start mixing the mixture. And when it starts to come together, what I'll do then is I'll take it out, and you need to knead this for 10 minutes. You have to knead the bread, and that's a lot of pulling and stretching, and like I said, that makes the gluten, and that's what will make the bread rise. If you don't knead it for 10 minutes, you'll get a very heavy, cloggy, stodgy loaf. That's not what you want at all. You want a loaf that is nice and airy, that's quite springy to touch, but that has a lot to do with the proving as well. So what we'll do is, once we've actually kneaded this, we'll put it back in the bowl, and we'll need to prove it. And we need to prove it somewhere quite well, nice and warm. I'm lucky I've got a conservatory, and we'll pop it out there for about an hour or double the size. Okay, so to the flour, the yeast and the oil, I'm going to add 300 millilitres of tepid water. Remember that I said with the other yeast, the fresh yeast, if you use warm water, it helps activate it quicker. This is just something I've always done. It doesn't necessarily have to be warm water, but I will add it because it will just help that process a little bit quicker. If you use cold, obviously the proving is going to take slightly longer. Okay, so I popped that all in there. I'm now just going to mix it for a few minutes. So there is going to be a little bit of noise, so please excuse me, and please excuse my back. Now, if you did have a dough hook, then you just constantly let the machine do that for 10 minutes. But like I said, I haven't got mine here. But you can sort of see the consistency that the dough is. You don't want it too stodgy, because if you do that, it's just going to make a mess everywhere. You're going to end up adding more flour. So this is just about right. I'm just going to try and get this last little bit off of the hook a second. Now, it will stick to your fingers. So what you need to have is you need to have a floured board. I don't have a board. I'm going to use my surface here. Please do make sure that you have really thoroughly cleaned it before you go and start doing your loaf of bread there. Okay, so there is my dough. Going to sprinkle a little bit more on the top. Now, when I say knead, you need to do this sort of like pulling and stretching motion. And like I said, this needs to be done for about 10 minutes. And that is just so that you can release all the gluten in the bread, and that's what will help it rise with the yeast. Now, I'm going to stop this video in a second, because I'm sure you don't want to see me kneading and stretching for 10 minutes. And then what we'll do is we'll come back. My phone, I'm afraid, isn't one of these fancy ones that you can pick up and drop off. You have to stop start, so the video will probably be in about 3 or 4 segments. Okay, see you in a while.